thing.
That's funny. So how's everything going with the patterns and the
Good.
good?
I'm getting comfortable with I'm just gonna try to like kill my key of C position before I move to other keys.
That's
So I'm just
perfect.
gonna memorize that out. Yeah. So
Awesome.
I'll show you what I can do
Yeah.
it quite slowly, but speeding up is a little challenging. So this, right? Right.
Yeah, that's good.
Essentially it, right? And the 5 positions I think are I. And then
Yeah.
this. And then this is the same position as this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It just repeats itself.
And then
Yeah. Now you did the whole fretboard, you know?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. So today I was thinking like we're gonna elaborate on that. We're gonna start like creating some exercises that like allow you to sort of like you know, I've showed you this and you worked on that idea of like, oh, okay, like if I do this and it's making sense and you can create lines.
Yeah.
Like now let's make somewhere where we go like very much this way and very quickly. So what I like to do is I have 2 exercises, one ascending and one descending. That's like my main one. And really what I do is I pick a string set. I'm going to do 3 and 4. So string 3 and 4, because they're comfortable to me and I'm not going to make mistakes when I show it to you. So and then what I like to do is this. So I'll play it here, alternate picking, then I slide up and then I do start at the bottom again. So it's like, and then I just went down the scale. But really, more than anything, that's the idea.
You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do I start?
So I just start in first position for now, right? Like it shouldn't matter, but when we're practicing, first position's good.
Yeah.
And then I just go 3 and 4. I play, slide, and then I repeat. So I actually go and then back to the 4th string. Yeah, and then back to the 4th string now. Yeah. Yeah.
That was shit. So.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And exactly. Yeah, and start it over. So basically, you know, and I try to make that. It's a 5-note pattern, right? Like it does end up being a 5-note pattern, but it's very, you know, and it gives you that ability to see like, oh, this is how it connects. Later, I have one where we're like going to alternate pick and we're going to make it a 4-note pattern. But this is just that start off point to be able to like, oh yeah, I can shift between like go. I always get vertical and horizontal like messed up.
Yeah.
But this going this way.
Yeah. No way. Yeah, I get it. So let me try that.
Yeah.
And then you back to this position. Is that the note?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 5.
Yeah. Yeah, but just make sure the note's the right one.
Yeah.
So it should be, yeah. Yep.
There you go. Would it be, yeah?
That's it. Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, exactly.
There you go.
And then there, like once I'm at the top, like back in the first position, I'm not so interested in sliding up. Also, the frets get really tight, and I like, you know, I would never find myself up here because I'd be so embarrassed, you know.
So after that position, you'd go.
Yeah, you could, or you could finish the line. You know, like you can just. Why not, right? Like anything that sounds final.
Okay.
Yeah, so then I just went. So I started here. And then ascended. You know. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you can, you know. It doesn't matter. The idea is just to create the pathway.
Yeah. So let me try that.
Yeah, let's try that again because it's a good one. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. And again, we're, you know, we're doing that on 2 strings, but of course, you know, being able to do that anywhere. You will find though that there's string sets that are more comfortable than others. And there's no shame in being like, this one's more comfortable, so I'm going to stick to that. But we still want to explore all the possibilities. Actually, the top 2 strings are really good for this too. I tend to prefer the top 2 strings and then the 3 and 4 together.
Okay, I just like, you know, when I'm going into a solo or doing some kind of phrasing, that's usually my go-to strings, right? It would be this position.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my starting point, you know? You know, you're just like, yeah. And you're like, if you were like in a 1 to 4 chord progression, you know, so you. You know, like that's the root, man. If it's major and if it's minor, this is the root. So like, of course, that's a good place to start. And then you can build it up. Yeah, right?
Sweet.
But I'm using all those same patterns and just building. But yeah, this is a great starting place. Most of my solos.
Could you send me the tabs for this thing?
Yeah, I should have the patterns, and if I don't, I'll write them out and send them your way. Yeah, I'll remember to do that. Sometimes I say, yeah, I'll totally remember, and then like 5 lessons later, I'm like, I think I told Ben Hale I was going to do something. And
that's all good. That's all good. So far, you've been impromptu with the lessons. Like, I mean, everything's on proper for me.
Good. And if I don't send it, it's like 3 days down the line. Like you could totally just message me on Facebook and be like, hey, like where are the tabs? And I'll be like, oh yeah, that's right. I made a promise. But yeah, that's the first part of the pattern. it's just doing that. Now, of course, it would behoove us to be able to do that this way as well, descending. So here I just do the same thing. Once I get here, I'll just descend it. But yeah, it's just starting up here and then sliding down. That's actually a little bit easier. Oh yeah, and I'm doing it on the same two strings, so it'll be all the way up to like 19 and 17. Yeah. And I slide on my index finger. There we go.
Yeah. And you go back to the G string, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go.
Yep.
That.
Yep.
And then you go. No, wait.
So close. There we go.
And then you go. And then you go.
Nope, we're in a different key now. It should be 9.
So you're going.
Yeah, 9 7. 9 7 10 7. Yeah. Yeah. But it's really good, right? Because now you're like starting to piece together these patterns in any way. So it's not just this like, oh, I get here and then I just kind of hang around in here and then I like, oh yeah, now I can start, you know. Now it's like, yep. Basically trying to get you in any playing situation to not be like, oh, where do I go next?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Some implications that this has too is that you can take really simple right hand patterns where you're alternate picking, and then you can take this shape up. You know?
That's sweet. So, okay. So,
yeah. You could do that too. Yeah. So I actually just did 1 2 3 4 1. Yeah.
How are you playing again?
Yeah, so I'm alternate picking the whole thing, mostly just because it's a right hand exercise for me as well. Yeah. And I'm just going, 7 5 7 5. I'm doing this. So I'm on the third string, same string sets that we were before, and I was just doing exactly, yeah. And then I was like, okay, now I'm done playing this pattern. Alternate picking the whole thing, yeah.
Is that alternate picking? Is that
yeah. And keep in mind, I'm just doing 1 2 3 4 1 2, starting the pattern. Yeah.
Okay.
And once you get a good feel for, yeah, exactly, and then now it's just the same thing. That's a little awkward on the next position. Yeah. And it ties back to that same idea, right? Like if the only way to like really play fast on this instrument or in general and anything really is to do the same thing but also like to do the same motion over and over again repeated.
Yeah.
So for me now, if I'm doing the alternate picking here, that's just a thing I can feel now. So now I don't have to worry about that part. I have to sync it with my hands, but then when I take it to the next position, because we're doing the same thing, I mean, the stretch can be awkward. I acknowledge that. But then I get home free.
No, sweet. I get that.
So
Excellent.
that's now we get 2 exercises baked into one. Good alternate picking and just like keeping see. Try to show it slowly and I can't do it. And then you start to like move it up. And of course, like, yeah, I'm running the pattern, but once the pattern is over, I can turn it into something else, right?
Yeah.
And we can play with this idea too for like um hammer-ons and pull-offs, right? Like if you're like, well, I'm not really a fast picker, so like I can't shred this line, which like I'm not a huge shredder and I'm not really advocating for people to turn into shred masters, but it is good to have like some speed and some ideas as to how it's created. So like you could do stuff with hammer-ons and pull-offs where you just, so here I'm doing pull-off, pull-off. Yeah. And because that's a 6-note pattern, I'm thinking about a sextuplet. So ducketa 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 ducketa. And it's the line is, and then back. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Oh, I actually go back up to the 3rd string, so I don't even hit this fret on the. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How many times do you pluck the entire time?
4 times. So I pluck on the down, 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 up, down, 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 up. And that up pluck like resets my pattern. Right. So again, same sort of idea of like taking a simple thing and turning it into a speed pattern. Like how often do I do that in a song? Well, if it's a solo that's building and I've been jamming out here, I could maybe. And then, that takes me to the next octave
Yeah.
in a way that the listener goes, that was pretty impressive and cool.
Yeah.
And now I'm here.
Yeah. And you can even just stay there, like do things at the higher octave, right? Because if you're at the peak of the solo, that's a good.
Exactly. And that's exactly what you were talking about last week too, if I remember correctly, where you were like, well, when I want to peak the solo, I just like take this and I just up an octave, play the same pattern, right?
Yeah, but now I can transition from here to there.
Yeah, which you could have done with, these ideas as well, of course. But here's another way of, really, and it builds, right? And now you're there. And now your solo is peaked.
Yeah. Do you listen to Lincoln Brewster?
Yeah.
Do you know that one? I'm pretty sure you know that. Like it goes like something like this. I forget the solo now.
Yeah. It's it. Today is the day.
Yeah.
I remember coming to America in like 2009 and being on my aunt and uncle's like worship team, and they like played that song because it was really hot back then. And they were like, "Yeah, I just learned the solo, and it's got that like really shreddy part."
Yeah, like something like that. Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. I'm gonna obviously look that up right now because you're bringing it up. This is one of those like moments like I told you about, right? Like if you ask the right question at the right time, and I don't have anybody right after you, the party never stops. Today's the day. I think I can find the pro tab for it if I'm lucky. Oh yeah. I remember this solo. I remember being so mad at this solo because
it's a hard solo. Like I mean, it's hard to like kind of do it. Like it's easy to like just kind of make it sound like the solo, but it's hard to do the exact thing note for note.
Yeah, and he's such a good player. I mean, he also doesn't trust his musicians and uses tracks and stuff. But yeah, I remember this like the like the yeah
Yeah.
and then yeah, and then he did the like the what is that? Uh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. And then he does this like sick pattern. Yeah, let me see if I can. Yeah, and I mean pure shred, right? Like how do you even like approach that? Yeah, I mean what he's doing though is it's like a D chord, you know, with a 9 or yeah, I would think of it like that. I would think of it as a, you know, or even actually it's an A suspended. Sorry, I'm being stupid. So it's like over an A chord, and he's playing, you know, and then he adds the sus4. Yeah.
No,
Now
that
I
you
can now I can maybe play it.
give
Gosh.
it a try.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe I can play it now. You know, like all those songs when you were younger and you like were like dying to play but had to give up. And then all of a sudden you come back to it as like an older person when you don't really like that song anymore. This
But
is
you,
not one of those actually because I like this lick and
yeah.
I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna reclaim it and steal it for my own playing because I forgot how sick this is. But then you're like, wait a minute, I can play this thing now. Yeah, it's cool. Like I wonder how I like. I'm strictly I'm strictly alternate picking. And it's really easy to do down, up, down, up. The hardest part is this down, up with the string switch.
So when you say alternative picking, how I'm trying to figure out if I've ever done it or not. So alternative picking is you're just going like up and down.
Down, up strictly. Like that's the rule. Whereas like economy picking could be like, you know, doing more of a like a sweep. You know, that's what we call economy picking. Or if I'm like playing the scale, so say like if I'm playing a scale and I go, so here I'm strictly alternate picking.
Yeah.
But if I do a scale and I say, wait a minute, I could use the economy of motion to go down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, and then sweep right there.
You're going in this motion, you might as well. Yeah.
Exactly. So basically, what it's saying is if I'm already going down and I'm going to an adjacent string, I might as well just push through and go to the next one.
Up and do the same thing.
Yeah. So then it'd be up, down, up, up, which is in concept a really good idea, and a lot of players use that to play really, really fast.
Yeah.
I have a tendency to struggle with that. Like I'm doing it right now, but I just don't feel as much in control as if I just go alternate and then just adjust my hand enough to where I can, you know. I feel I feel way more in charge.
Okay, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I see the difference. I've never I don't know if I've ever played like that. Just I'm doing. Yeah, I'm just usually doing back and up and down. Yeah.
Yeah, which that sounds sick right there. I mean, I do use this kind of economy picking a little bit, I should say, and that is when I'm like I have these patterns in my pentatonic playing. Eric Johnson patterns, yeah, which is like a 5, so it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sweep. So that buys me, you know, that buys me some time. So I have less notes. Like I just get more mileage out of the pattern that I'm in.
Yeah.
And a picking pattern that's like, and then I just try to keep that as even 16 notes. But if I try to go a little too fast, the lines get really blurred. You know.
Okay.
So then in my brain, I'm just like, as long as this is a downbeat,
As long
who
as
cares what it's called floating, but like, who cares what the in between was, as long as like I very clearly stated, I know that this is the downbeat.
Oh, okay. No, makes
Yeah.
sense.
Or you can do like patterns where it's like, you know.
How are you doing? Can I see your right hand again?
Huh?
I can't see your right hand. Can you move the
Yeah.
camera a little bit?
Yeah. So here I'm doing a hammer on. So sweep again. I'm sweeping, right? Because it's like. Whenever you see that like little like this motion, that's me like sweeping through the string for the sake of the pattern.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. I get that. Yeah.
So, but like, yeah. Thanks for reminding me of the solo, because now I forget how fast he played it.
He does that twice.
He just does it twice, right? Where he's just like, huh?
So.
Oh, and I have a suggestion. You might actually find it easier for the left hand to go instead of to the middle finger.
Using your ring finger or your pinky to go there?
Pinky. So I'm going pinky, index, middle, index.
Say it again.
I'm going pinky, index, middle, index.
Pinky, index. Okay. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. For now, it's probably going to be awkward because you're used to not having to stretch. Yeah. But I definitely find that a little bit easier. Oh, and you can make it a minor chord, you know?
Wow.
And think about it that way, like, yeah, so like you can take this idea. You know. You know. Yeah, I'd have to practice it. But yeah, you could take this idea and you know, turn it into different chords.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's like,
if you have a class with Daniel next time, show him that solo, because him and I have always been like trying to get that solo, because when I was like back in the day, maybe like 5-6 years ago, it used to be a hit song, and like we used to screw it up, like majorly screw it up, and we just kind of, because it was a small church at that time, we didn't really care, but I want to learn that. I want to learn that solo properly. He'd love that too.
Yeah, I'll make sure to show it to him, because it's a super cool lick. Anytime I look at this lick, I'm like, why don't I play this at like literally every gig? You know? This lick is so good. And why did I never like go, you know, like what we just did? Why don't I work at a chord progression?
What's the first chord?
Oh, it's an A sus, right? Huh?
And second, you know, when you moved, what chord did that go?
I went to an E7, so I went to like a, yeah. So I'm going like, yeah.
And after that,
I went to an A7. So I'm going like, can, you know, it can make a really functional chord progression out of that.
That's awesome.
To a D chord, you know, and I'm just thinking about the notes in the chord and how to get there the closest.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have a shred fest at home.
Is this your house or an actual office?
Hmm?
This is
Oh,
your
this is my house. This is my
office.
house. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, I was moving, but like in the process of moving, I still like because I like was living with my parents for a while. Actually, like I had a rough year in 2019, and now like I'm not having a rough time anymore. So and like finally like was able to get my own place. So I like still had access to that house
Yeah.
where like all my stuff was while you know moving, so that when everything was like ready here, I could just move my stuff over and set it up in a way that I
Awesome.
really like. Yeah,
Is it a house or an apartment?
it's a house.
Okay, sweet. Because
Yeah.
you can't being a guitar. I mean, being a musician, you can't do it in an apartment.
No, you gotta have a house and you gotta have your office space. Like it's been good, you know, and honestly, like teaching like this has like really contributed to that. So it went from really bad time in my life to really good time in my life. And what's really awesome about that is it makes you appreciate the good time so much more.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's awesome.
So
Awesome. Okay, thanks a lot. I will let you go. I gotta head
sounds
out.
good.
And please send me those tabs for the pattern, and I'll
Yep, we'll do.
on that.
I'll send you those patterns, and then I'll see you Monday.
Yeah, sounds good.
Have
Okay,
a good
see you.
one.